Hi, I'm Emma.
And I'm Jen, and welcome to our sex education video series, The Sexy Talk. We are here for anybody and everybody on your sex journey. So that might be whether or not you're having sex now, whether you recently started having sex, whether you're planning to have sex soon, maybe not for a while, maybe, never, but we're here for you. Today we're going to be talking about specifically the hymen.
All about hymens today. So as we pop our video series cherry, we wanted to talk about why that saying makes no sense.
But before we get started, we're going to be talking about some terminology you might be, me and Emma might be using that you might be unfamiliar with. So first, there's a distinction between sex and penetrative sex, because not all sex includes penetration, and also between vulva and vagina. So vulva is actually the external female genitalia, while vagina is part of the internal female reproductive system. So we just want to make sure there's a distinction there, because a lot of times vagina is used to refer to the vulva.
Yeah, super common to mix those two up. You may also hear us use the term vulva owner instead of women, because not all women have vulvas, and not everybody who has a vulva identifies as a woman.
But, those are a lot of different terms. We'll definitely have a lot of videos about those soon.
Yes, and we're two medical students. We're not experts in all things sexy. So to learn about what a hymen is, we should find an expert.
I think so.
How many vaginas have you seen?
Well, after my internship this summer, probably like 50 or 60, but definitely not considered an expert. How about you, Emma?
Yeah, not enough.
Not enough. All right, well, I think that means that we need to find ourselves an expert, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many vaginas have I seen? So I can't even give an accurate answer to that, but after 11 years of delivering babies, doing exams in office, thousands can be my only estimate. I am Megan Cox-Padota. I am a DO, a doctor of osteopathy. I am an obstetrician gynecologist, and I have been practicing for a total of 11 years now.
What is a hymen?
A hymen is a band of tissue just inside the opening of the vagina called the introitus. The introitus is the very opening of the vagina. And just inside of it is this tighter band of tissue that goes all the way around. This band of tissue all the way around the inside of the opening of the vagina is there from the time you are born, and it is always open, almost always. It is abnormal if the hymen is closed. So the thoughts that a hymen is a completely closed piece of tissue is not true. It is open. If it weren't open, when a girl got her period every month, the blood wouldn't be able to come out. It has to be open.
Here's a drawing of what that ring of tissue can look like. All of these are healthy and normal.
Just like human faces can all look different, same thing for the rest of your body parts. So if you're trying to compare yourself to a photo or maybe somebody else, just because it doesn't match exactly doesn't mean that that's unhealthy or abnormal.
Right. We really want to emphasize that difference is beautiful. So unless you're in pain or you need medical care, your personal brand of different is beautiful, healthy, and normal.
Even after it tears or breaks, it's still present just inside the opening of the vagina. There's what's called the remnants of the hymen, and there's a piece of tissue still all the way around just inside the opening even after it has torn or broken.
How would I find my or my partner's hymen?
To find your hymen, all you would have to do is stick one finger, which everyone should be comfortable with, putting a finger inside the vagina, just barely inside the opening. And if you push down slightly, you can feel this tighter band, like a rubber band of tissue going all the way around just inside the opening. I have women come into my office not knowing that their hymen is still present, that tissue is still there. So knowing that it is there and it is normal, and if you look with a mirror, which all women should be comfortable looking at their vaginas with a mirror and at their vulvas, if you look, you'll see this little ridge of tissue just inside the opening, and that is your hymen.
Why should I look at my vulva or vagina?
Well, one reason would be to demystify it. My name is Adam Fields, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in California, and a sex therapist certified by the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. Oftentimes, vulva owners are afraid to look at their vulva up close, fearing that it won't look like what they think it's supposed to look like, or that it'll be dirty or ugly. But the truth is, it's really important to know your body, know what it looks like, and to foster a positive relationship with it, in this case, the vulva. And the research on this is very clear. There is a direct correlation between how one feels about their body and their sexual satisfaction.
So the better I feel about my body, the more likely I am to be satisfied with my sex life. Does your hymen break when you have penetrative sex?
When you go to have intercourse for the first time, because it is a tight band, can stretch and tear a little bit because it has to accommodate the size of whatever's being inserted inside the vagina. And so if it doesn't have enough give to accommodate what's being inserted, it's going to tear and give a little bit the first time something is put inside the vagina. You should feel comfortable with all of your partners, but especially your first partner, so that tearing the hymen doesn't have to be a painful experience. But if you do notice some bleeding the first time you have intercourse, it's normal. It's probably that the hymen is tearing a little bit to make more space for whoever your partner is.
Does it hurt?
So when the hymen tears, it can be painful, but I think what's really important for young girls wondering about the hymen, what happens the first time they have sex, is to remember that a lot of this all has to do with your comfortability and the respect you receive from your partner. If you have a partner that is willing to make sure that you are well lubricated, that they take their time and go slowly, it doesn't have to be very painful. Some women don't even notice it when their hymen tears or breaks for the first time because they have a partner who's respectful and taking their time to make sure that they're comfortable. So it doesn't have to hurt.
Should there be blood the first time I have intercourse?
Not necessarily. If you have a hymen that was able to give and stretch enough for your partner, then you're not going to bleed the first time you have intercourse. A boy cannot tell based on your body's response to intercourse how many partners you have been with. So whether you bleed or don't bleed has no bearing on how many partners you have had.
A lot of people think of hymens as a freshness seal on the vagina, and as we just learned, that is not the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of mythology, and I'm sure that just stems from a lot of questions about the hymen, and specifically how the hymen relates to virginity. So let's dive into that a little bit further.
Can a hymen break without penetrative sex?
So yes, the hymen can be broken without penetrative intercourse. So even when a woman inserts a tampon, or sometimes it can tear a little bit. I don't know if anything even jostles the vagina. I've heard of some women having a little bit of bleeding and irritation from horseback riding, from riding on the saddle, and it can irritate the hymen and pull it a little bit, though that's not common. More often it's from something being inserted inside the vagina, but commonly, again, a lot of girls are using tampons before they start having penetrative intercourse.
What does a hymen mean about virginity?
A lot of the thoughts on the hymen, and I know recently in the media there's been news of a famous person having his daughter examined to see if she was still a virgin and looking at the hymen. You cannot tell typically by looking at the hymen whether or not someone is a virgin. You can see when you examine a woman that maybe her hymen is more narrow, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's a virgin. Maybe she just had something smaller that didn't tear her hymen or stretch it, penetrate inside the vagina. Things can penetrate inside the vagina without stretching and breaking the hymen. So there is no way to look at a hymen and know whether or not someone has been sexually active.
Will my hymen grow back?
The hymen can't really grow back, not to what it was before you started having intercourse or something penetrated the vagina. Again, the tissue is still going to be there, the band is still there, but after you've been having intercourse for a while, at that point the tissue has more give, it's been stretched out. So it's still there and it's not going to narrow back down to the size it was before it tore.
Here are some other tips from an expert.
I think the most important is for young girls to start to feel comfortable with their own bodies, comfortable with their sexuality, and comfortable knowing that they have control over who can touch their bodies and who they first have intercourse with, penetrative intercourse with, or anything with. And again, making sure that you're with somebody who respects you, respects your body, respects when you say to stop, and is respectful to make sure that it's an enjoyable experience for you.
Here's why you should know this, even if you don't have a hymen.
I've had some women come to me and talk about young women is the first time they have intercourse, their partner's judging them that based on their limited lack of knowledge, whether or not their partner is promiscuous or had numerous partners.
So we hope you enjoyed your journey with us and learned a lot along the way.
We wanted to let you know that today's video was a little bit more technical and it focused on people's bodies who have vaginas, and not every video is going to be like that.
Yeah, we're planning on doing a lot of different videos on a lot of different topics, from like contraceptive methods to, you know, STDs, STIs, to different types of sex, and so much more.
Yeah. We hope that you continue to join us as we learn together.
So stay safe and stay sexy. I feel like I can't do that without doing this.